There we go. So welcome to Living the Dream, Transform Your Creative Vision into Your New Reality in 2022. As I was just sharing with some people who came into the room a little bit early and we're getting, as people are rolling in, I just would love for you to have something to write with. Everybody's gonna stay muted and so I can get a good recording, and I promise to leave time for questions at the end. So this is the masterclass for you if you are longing for a life filled with purpose and fulfillment and joy. If you're currently not living either the personal or professional creative existence that you long for, that you are ready to stop dreaming and start doing. You're tired of spending most of your precious time and energy and resources on other people's needs and wants rather than your own. And you want to create the success that you see other people enjoying, and you really crave a life where creativity is woven throughout. So today you're going to learn 3 important shifts that will help you to transform your creative vision into your new reality. And I really consider these the magic ingredients to my success, both in my personal creative passions and my successful coaching business that I've built. I wasn't born with them. They are the product of a mindset that I have intentionally cultivated and that I help my one-on-one clients to cultivate, and that is 100% available to you. So if you're ready, then let's go ahead and dive in. So let me see. For one thing, that's going to be, me knowing where we are with the slides too. So here we are. We don't have a lot of time together today, and there's so much that I want to share with you. I'm really excited about sharing this brand new class with you so we can stay on track. Again, I'm going to ask you to stay muted and save your questions until the end, and I promise that you will have time to have them answered. Be sure to have a pen and paper to take notes. You can take screenshots if you like, but just know that you're going to have the access to the replay within 48 hours. So even if you miss something or I don't say something, I'm unable to see a question, you can definitely go back and watch the replay again. So the other thing that I would like to invite you to do is to really be fully present during this presentation and intentionally listen to everything that I'm telling and sharing with you, and ask yourself, how can I apply this to my own creative vision? And I'm also going to share with you how we can take everything that you learned today on today's masterclass and go further with it if we find a way, or if you want to work together on a weekly basis to take this and actually transform your dreams into your new reality. And also, to that point, I was saying a little bit earlier to Simona that there's a special bonus that's going to be available to people that begin working with me in January, which is the Creative Oasis 2022 Visioning Experience that we just did in January. I did with my one-on-one clients and some other people that joined us. It's an empowering 3-week program. I created it as a gift for my one-on-one clients, and I decided I got so much good feedback from it, from the people that joined me, that I wanted to extend the access to new clients who begin working with me at the first of the year. So the ahas and the breakthroughs and the clear visions that people have been uncovering and sharing with me is truly amazing. And it's really helped them to find clarity around their vision for what they want to create in the new year. And I'm thrilled to be able to share it with more people this year. So, if you're new to me and Creative Oasis Coaching, I want to welcome you. I'm so glad you're here. And if you've been following or working with me for some time, welcome back. Though I've been a certified master creativity coach since 2009, I've really built my Creative Oasis coaching business from a part-time job into a full-time mortgage-paying career over the past 3 years. So the past 3 years, I've really overcome some challenging legal and financial situations that were the result of a fallout of a messy divorce. And I've also intentionally enjoyed more personal, for the fun of it, creativity than ever before. I call these creative oasis moments. And for me, they include things like playing piano and singing, making collages, doing watercolors, visiting art galleries and museums, cooking and reading, things that I do just for myself to kind of fill my own well with creative goodness. So I've had the opportunity to teach and coach hundreds of people in the last few years around the globe via International Creative Mornings, which is a great global creative a creative group, which I would highly recommend that you check out, and other groups here locally. I've also been able to help raise money and awareness for Congo Restoration Sewing School and Women for Women International and Mommies in Need and the Creative Arts Center of Dallas, which is an amazing facility that we have here in Dallas, a nonprofit, which I'm going to get to sit on the board on starting this year. So I'm super excited about that. We have all kinds of classes and workshops, everything from metal welding and sculpting to making jewelry to figure drawing. It's just amazing, the Creative Arts Center of Dallas. So, what I get to do is to help my awesome clients to learn, grow, and succeed as they do everything from submit book proposals to write memoirs, blogs, and screenplays and courses to build their own coaching careers, to healing bodies, opening boutique ad agencies, weaving way more for the joy of it, creative fun into their lives, supporting causes they care deeply about, making art and food, and strengthening their self-confidence while they do so. So together, we're all learning to become the people who make our vision, our audacious personal and professional creative dreams come true, one delightfully doable step at a time. And I share all of this because I strive to be an example of what's possible every day. I am not a unicorn, and if I can do it, you can too. 100%. So you gave yourself permission today to sign up for this masterclass. There we go. And you gave yourself permission to show up for this masterclass or watch the replay. So if you find it challenging to give yourself permission, usually to focus and follow through with your creative endeavors, you're not alone. And giving yourself permission is actually an incredible gift and an empowering step that a lot of people just gloss right over. So I want to share with you just a short guided imagery of sorts to help you give yourself the permission to bring yourself into the moment and set your intentions for the short amount of time that we have together today. Whether you're here with me now live on the call or watching the replay, I invite you to close your eyes, take a nice deep breath or two, and simply get comfortable in the place you're sitting. Relax, let your shoulders drop. Take another nice deep breath. It's not very often that we allow ourselves to have time to do that. And simply listen to these words and let them sink in. I hereby give myself permission to be fully present and in the moment during this masterclass. I hereby give myself permission to close any other apps or windows on my computer, to put my phone away, to close the door if possible, let others know I need privacy so that I can have the time and space I need to truly focus. I hereby give myself permission to remain open to receiving new ideas and envisioning how they'll serve me and enhance my creative life in the new year. I hereby give myself permission to be gentle and not judge myself or my journey during this masterclass. I hereby give myself permission to be open to the possibility that I'm capable of turning my creative dreams into my reality in the new year. And P.S., if I feel resistance around any of these statements, it is 100% totally normal, and I'll just practice being gentle and giving myself 5% more permission at a time. Okay, so open your eyes if you had them closed, and let's dive in. So you're probably here today because on some level, you're not fully living either your personal and or professional creative life that you would like to be. And here are the issues that I see so often when people first come to me to work with me, and I want you to listen to see if they sound familiar in any way to you. So you have so many ideas that you feel completely overwhelmed and don't know what to choose. So you end up choosing nothing or feeling frozen and paralyzed, afraid you're going to make the wrong choice maybe. And you end up doing nothing again, even though you might spend a fair amount of time thinking about this or beating yourself up about it. Or you try to do all the things and end up bouncing from thing to thing to thing and not really going deep and making any headway with anything and feeling scattered or burnt out and unsatisfied in the process. Or you just have a vague notion of what it is you might want to create, or you don't know at all, And maybe you all of a sudden you have a change where you have time. So you're an empty nester recently, or you're in between jobs. You have an opportunity to change your career, or you've had a recent retirement. And all of these things can lead to even more pressure because the thought is heaped on top of it. I have the time. I should be able to do this. So because you're not sure what to do next, you somehow believe you should already know. So that leads to a lack of confidence as well. So you're afraid to make the wrong decision, so you make no decisions, or you don't know where to begin, you doubt the worthiness of your creative dream, or you have those dream killer thoughts, such as no one will care or understand about this or pay for this, or somebody else has already done this, they've probably done it better than I have. Why should I waste my time, money, and energy? What if this all comes to nothing? And the other thing is you let other people's needs and wants and beliefs about what you want to do color your decision and become the most important thing in your decision. You may worry that you're running out of time, or you haven't been willing to, or just don't know how to make the time and trust your decisions and stick to them. You may start and stop things frequently, or only create when the spirit moves you every once in a while. Or you may have a lot of projects, but that you have the difficulty finishing, or you just haven't figured out how to devote time and effort to making your dreams really happen. So what you need to actually turn your creative vision into your reality in the new year are three things: to cultivate clarity, which is getting crystal clear on what it is you want to create and why. This gives you focused direction and really makes it possible for you to formulate a plan of action. And then the second is confidence, strengthening your confidence and the belief in yourself and your worth and your dreams. This allows you to take action more consistently and more confidently, of course. And then the third is commitment. Once you've given yourself time to come up with your creative vision and to build your confidence around it, you really need a way to commit to making it happen, so you are showing up and taking action to move forward on a consistent basis rather than once in a blue moon. So often this is what I see people try in order to fix it. Wow, those slides are like, some are big, some are small. I'm just realizing, good thing I'm not a perfectionist here. Go back and change that for the next round. I don't know if you can see that, but what I see people trying is that most multi-passionate creatives that aren't in the place that they want to be with their creativity is they will sign up for another course in the hopes that someone will tell them exactly how to make it happen. Or if you're like many of the people who I work with or reach out to me for help, you may have 2 or 3 or 23 courses somewhere on your computer that, even though they're untouched, they're still guilting you out from afar. Or even if you do actually work through the coursework, it can end up sometimes being more than a distraction because you don't end up actually doing the thing that it is you wanted to do when you bought the course in the first place. Another method that people try is to listen to all the podcasts and hope that that's where they're going to learn the nugget of wisdom that's going to tell them exactly what to do next. And while podcasts can be super fun and informative and educational, they can also lead to compare and despair. All of these other people have their act together. They seem to be doing all of the things. What's the matter with me? Why can't I do it? And it can also be a kind of sneaky way that you tell yourself you're working on your creative endeavor, but in truth, it's kind of a passive listening and can be a subtle form of avoidance. Another thing I see people do, and I've been guilty of all these things myself, is buying all the self-help or how-to books. And when I say buying, I really just mean buying. You might even read it, right? But how many of us buy them and just set them on the nightstand on top of your current stack of books in the hopes that the information and the knowledge is going to seep into your brain through osmosis in the night? I wish that one worked. It usually does not. But even when we read the books, they don't come with a personalized guide of how to apply the information precisely to our own unique vision and circumstance. The other thing I see people believe is that they need to earn another certification or another degree before they can do the thing that they want to do. So again, this can often just be another distraction and rationalization that keeps you from doing the thing that you want to do. Sometimes this can kind of knock you off the path for months, weeks, years, decades sometimes. So I'm living proof. I've been a master Kaizen Muse creativity coach since 2010. And yet having that certification alone is not what led to my current success. And I want to say, I get it. I'm a lifelong learner and a reader, and I love all of those things. So whether it's reading or listening to podcasts or taking courses or earning certifications, I'm a believer in those things if you then actually use them to get what you want and to create the results that you want. And I've just seen too many people, and I'm going to include myself in this, to labor under the false assumption that simply by taking the course or getting the certification or learning the skill, that is going to somehow magically lead to people signing up for your workshops or buying your book or finishing your book or hiring you as a coach or, anything like that. And that's just not the case. And the last thing that I see people do is just to keep doing the same thing they've always done and hope for a different result. And, none of those things are actually going to create the life that you want, the creative, satisfying life that you want. So the first of the 3 steps we're going to talk about today, clarity, confidence, and commitment, is clarity. And I see clarity as a 2-step process. The first is to allow yourself to follow your curiosity and really play in possibility and figure out what you want. And the second is to actually make decisions afterwards. So step 1, you need the time and the space and hopefully a non-judgmental space to follow your curiosity, to play in possibility, and to intentionally contemplate, what is it that I want to create? Now, this can be a real challenge, especially if you've been doing what others need and want you to do at work or in your family for most of your life, or if you're now choosing a different direction. Most people don't give themselves this time and space on their own, and they usually don't receive it from friends and family either. Those people usually have a pretty preconceived notion of what would be best for you. So the other thing is we expect our ideas sometimes just to come fully formed, like we should already know, which is unlikely as well. So I'll share an example of one of my clients, Erin. She came to me really not being sure what it was she wanted to create, but she knew that she wasn't getting everything she needed and wanted satisfaction wise and purpose wise from her job, even though she loved her job. And she really wanted a way to weave more creative fun and fulfillment into her life. So working together one-on-one, that gave her the space and time to really explore options and then make clear decisions on what she wanted to do, which ended up leading to a wonderful online business. I'm going to share more about that at the end of the call. But she really had kept thinking on her own she should already have figured this out. She had time, she had resources. Why wasn't she able to figure it out? And so she was in a constant state of frustration before we took this very intentional path to let her follow her curiosity and then make decisions, which is step 2. After you allow yourself to dream and decide what it is you want to create, then you really need clarity. And that comes by making choices about where you want to focus your time and how you want to go about these things. And I understand completely that this can be one of the most challenging steps for multi-passionate creatives because we have so many ideas that we don't know where to begin. So one of the benefits of the coaching relationship is having someone to guide you through this process of playing with possibility, making decisions, and then helping you to trust yourself so that you can make decisions and commit to them and act to them. I share tools. I have a tool called the Creative Oasis Clarity Finder that helps people to take all of their ideas and look at them and find a way to make decisions and prioritize. And that's a piece of the visioning experience too that I talked about later that's available to my one-on-one clients. Confidence. This is the second piece. So the number one thing that is going to hold you back when it comes to confidently going after your creative dreams is your mindset. The truth is that thoughts are so powerful and they are the thing that can weaken your confidence or bolster your confidence and have you actually take the steps that you want to take. So these are those kind of dream killer thoughts, like I was sharing earlier. Thoughts like, my dreams feel out of reach. I don't really even know what it is I want to do. Who am I to think I can pull something like this off? Other people can do this, but not me. I need to find a way to make money first, and then I can focus on my dreams. It's easy for her, but I have so many challenges. Or what I want to do probably isn't even realistic. So if you have any thoughts like this or similar to this, I want you to know that you're definitely not alone. These types of inner critic thoughts have so much power because they're usually the thoughts you've been carrying around with you the longest, again, years, even decades sometimes. And so you can even start to believe like this is reality, this is truth, this is fact, when in fact they are only thoughts that you have been carrying around with you, or other people have been sharing with you and foisting onto your belief system. So I have a process I'm going to share right now with you that I share with my clients that really helps them to shine a light on these disempowering thoughts and neutralize them, and then release them or replace them with thoughts that are going to serve you rather than hold you back. So I call this the AAA reset. And this is, you can use this to move past hesitancy, resistance, overwhelm, feelings of pressure or uncertainty, or any other emotions that are likely to mess with your confidence and hold you back. So the AAA steps are acknowledge, ask, and align. And this is how you use it. The first step is to just simply acknowledge that you are feeling something uncomfortable. You can admit to yourself the uncomfortable feeling and name it. For example, you may be feeling pressure. It's okay, you're a human. And on some level, your feeling of pressure is only trying to keep you safe. So just acknowledging that that is the feeling that you're having, and that's okay, not judging yourself for that. I feel pressure. Then the second piece of the puzzle of the AAA is ask. Ask yourself, what am I thinking that's making me feel pressure? Because our thoughts are always what are fueling our feelings. So for example, if you're thinking, I'll never finish my website, there's too much to do, that thought makes you feel pressured, which is uncomfortable, which reads unsafe to your brain. So you stop working on your website and you go do something that feels comfortable and safe, like playing words with friends or watching cute cat videos or shopping online or snacking or something like that. Or even doing other work that just like you know how to do it, so you don't have these pressured feelings around it. But taking an honest look at your thoughts and really seeing them clearly is the fastest way to get to the bottom of what's holding you back. And it's one of the most important aspects of making this shift. And, you know, obviously it's very helpful to have someone with perspective who knows what to look for and can help you shine a light on them and has the objectivity to not be in your, I always talk about it like the thought tornado, like you have all these thoughts whirling around your brain, you're in the eye of the storm. And as a coach or a mentor, I can be back here and with perspective, non-judgment, and objectivity say, oh, look at this thought that you're thinking over and over again that is totally guiding you down this path that you don't want to be taking. So that doesn't align with your creative dreams. So that's part 3, is to align. Once you uncover the pressure fueling thought, you practice releasing it if possible. Sometimes it really is possible just to see a thought and think to yourself, well, that's not true. That doesn't make any sense, and just drop it and let it go. But sometimes we need to work to neutralize it or change it altogether. And it is possible to do that. That is at the root of all the work that I do for myself and for my clients and all the biggest changes that I've ever made in my life. So just to take it back to the website example, for example, if you really look at the thought, I'll never finish my website from a neutral place, you can see that that's really more of a dramatic or emotion-filled thought. In reality, you know that you can finish. It's possible that you will finish it. You may not know exactly how, you may not know all the steps, but you know that it's figure outable. And you know that when you are in a calm place where your brain feels safe, this is something that you can actually do. So it might be easier to get to let the thought go of I'll never finish my website. And you could practice replacing that thought with the one that's not serving you with something that aligns with the way you want to feel and the actions that you want to take. So for example, you might replace I'll never finish my website with an intentional thought like I'll do what it takes to finish my website. That's an empowering thought, right? Like it doesn't say I know how to do it all, but it says I'm going to do what needs to be done, or I know what needs to be done and I can figure this out, or this is going to take as long as it takes, but something that helps you to actually feel less pressure and motivated to move forward. So another example I'll share is my client Amber. She shifted from, she wanted to create videos for to promote her online yoga business for Instagram. She was totally resistant to videos, absolutely resistant to reels. No way with the reels, she said. I'm not going to be a dancing reel mom, is what I think the way she put it. And yet, when we did the AAA reset and when we worked together over weeks on her mindset, this is what we uncovered. She acknowledged that she felt resistant toward making the videos. And then she asked herself, why? What's the thought that I'm having about this action that other people do and don't have a problem, right? And she found that her thought was, this has to be perfect or people will think I'm not professional. And this fueled such pressure and overwhelm and perfectionism that she, of course, didn't want to do it. So in order to align and have the result that she wanted, which is to have more of a presence on Instagram to let people know about her great online yoga business, she came up with the thought, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be good enough. And this was the first thought to replace for her to align with the feeling of actually making a video. And then we talk a lot about in my coaching, Anne Lamont's concept of the shitty first draft. Anne Lamont is a fantastic writer. She's in the spiritual, religious genres, and she has a book called Bird by Bird about writing. And she talks about the fact that we can't write anything and we can't do anything perfectly the first time, right? And so we really take this concept of being gentle with ourselves and realizing we can do a first draft of anything. Yeah, Anne Lamont is the best. So we used that, and not only so working with that line of coaching, among other things, within a few weeks, she had gone to posting videos once a week, to starting to play with reels, to starting to have fun with reels, to most recently, she did a 30-day reel challenge, and she's been posting a reel every day, and more importantly, having fun with it. And so because she's having fun with it, because it doesn't have to be perfect, guess what? The reels are fun and her engagement is high. So that's the final piece of the 3 steps that you need to actually turn, your mindset to a place that it serves you, and it helps you to cultivate that confidence that you need to take the steps that you want to take. So again, that AAA reset is to acknowledge, asking, what am I feeling right now? This is not good. I don't like the way this feels in my body, but it's okay. I can name it. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling frustrated, whatever it is. And then ask, what thought am I thinking that are fueling that feeling? And then just looking, is there a way that I can drop that thought, or is there another thought that I can replace it with that will align with the way I want to feel and the actions I want to be taking? It's a huge part of the mindset work that I do with my clients and myself. So the third piece that you need to cultivate in order to turn your creative vision into your new reality in the new year is commitment. So there are several important components to commitment. The first is to get the support that you need, right? So many people come to me and their thought is like, I've been trying to do it on my own and I can't. And so I'm frustrated, but I'm not letting go of the thought that I've got to be able to do this on my own. If you will get the support you need, the moment I hired a coach, or my coaches, people have hired me for their coach, they said they felt the shift immediately, even before our first session. And this is because they've just honored their calling. They finally decided to commit to making their creative dreams happen rather than to continue dreaming about them and beating themselves up for not making them happen for years on end. The second is going back to what we talked about a little bit earlier. Stop spending the majority of time looking outside of yourself for the answers with more books and podcasts and courses. Instead, learn how to and practice intentionally making good use of what you already have and know. I have so many clients who have so much expertise and so much life experience and so many skills that they could share with the world in so many empowering ways. They have everything they need to begin. They just need a plan to actually make that happen. So one of the things I do is to help them intentionally look inward and practice trusting their own inner wisdom and saying, what do I already know? What do I already have that's right here in my own brain or on my computer that or on my bookshelf that I can intentionally use to bring my creative vision to life? Many times I even help clients to complete courses that they've purchased and haven't touched and then use them in their own life. Most recently, I helped my client Joanne to take the final step she needed to earn her certification as a creativity coach by taking the final exam and passing it. And she told the group who gathered for one of our group sessions with the Creative Oasis Visioning Experience that she was so grateful that she finally asked for help rather than staying in the loop of self-doubt and self-judgment, that she should be able to do it on her own because she had taken the course 2 times and she had never gone that last step to take the exam and get her certification. And now she has, and she passed it and she's certified and she's over the moon and she's going to start her own practice. The third is to name and claim your dream. And doing this both in writing and saying it aloud is super empowering. If you're familiar with The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, she has a concept that I love called believing mirrors. And that's people who, without bias or prejudice, support our beliefs, mirror back to us what it is that we want to create in the world, and are willing to support us from a place of non-bias, non-judgment. This can be tricky to find. And it's definitely one of the benefits of a coaching container, but, you know, just being aware of who we share it with, like not letting other people's judgments tear us down, but definitely spending time with the people who do support us unconditionally. I recently saw this quote that I just loved. To me, it kind of encapsulated this idea, and it said, "You cannot talk butterfly language with caterpillar people." So if you're in a space and time of transformation and blooming and blossoming, and you're hanging out with or trying to share that with people who are not ready yet because they're still cocooned up, you're probably not going to get the kind of support that you really need. So it's so important to surround yourself with at least one person, but other people that you can name and claim your dream to and be your real authentic self with. The fourth thing is to really remember, and this is such a freeing thing to remember, I think, that life is a mix of good and bad. Good, the not so good, downright awful, actually. There will be times that you get bumped off the path, that something bad happens in life or something unexpected happens in life. And just knowing ahead of time and remembering ahead of time, because we all know it on some level, right? But really looking that, you know, straight in the eye and saying, yeah, I'm going to get bumped off the path. That's going to happen. But that doesn't mean that you have to stay off the path. That's an essential part of being committed to your dream, knowing ahead of time, things are going to go wrong. Clients are going to say no. Book publishers are going to say pass. But that doesn't mean that you stay off the path. It just means, yep, that was what can I learn from that? Or that wasn't a very fun experience. I'm always trying, it's a goal to always learn from our failures, right? Because there's no real failures if we decide to learn from them. And just having a support system and process in place where when things don't go as planned, you use that as a moment for growth, not as a reason to give up. And that's something that I help my clients do all the time. And the last thing I want to say that you need to do is to build your belief that something that has never happened before can possibly happen, even though you have no proof yet. So this is another challenge that stops a lot of people in their tracks because they kind of want the proof before they do the thing. Like, I don't know how, so I'm not going to do how. I'm not going to do how. I don't know how, so I'm not going to do it. Rather than saying, I don't know how, but I'm going to learn how, or I'm going to figure it out. That's another instance where we can let things, imagine if everybody on the planet never tried to do anything that they didn't know how to do before. We wouldn't be meeting right here, right now, because we wouldn't have computers and Zoom and all that kind of stuff. Really giving yourself that creative, imaginative place of possibility to play in and to then believe there is a way to make it happen, even if you don't know exactly what that is now. So I tell my clients a lot, and I use this a lot. You can believe in what you're going to create without knowing the exact how right now. We will figure that out. We will reverse engineer it along the way. So to use myself as an example, 3 years ago in January, actually, I had no idea how I was going to be where I am today. In fact, I hadn't yet taken the first important step of deciding and really getting clarity around the fact that I was going to go 100% all in on my coaching business. My ex had quickly stopped providing any of the financial support that he'd agreed to during our settlement and started quickly tanking the business we'd owned together for 15 years. So I was definitely on my own in all the ways. I had been out of the advertising field and out of any kind of full-time work for about 25 years. I had only created even though I had my coaching business for over a decade, it had always been part-time. And I knew that I had to find a way to be the sole earner, that I wanted to keep my house, if at all possible, that I really didn't want to work a 9-to-5 job for someone else because I hadn't done that in over 25 years. And it didn't seem like it was going to be a good fit for me to go back to that, if at all possible. So I had to work to gain my clarity. I had to follow my curiosity and look at all of the possibilities. And when I did, I chose to work with what I already had, my coaching certification, my clients that I did have, my part-time business, my over a decade of experience. And then I made my decision that that's what I was going to make work. And my coach helped me to see that the only thing standing between me and making those things happen was my confidence and my thoughts and my commitment. So I doubled down on both of those. So that was 3 years ago. And, I couldn't have known, I didn't know how I was going to do it. But 3 years later, I'm fully booked with a wait list. I get to coach multi-passionate creative humans around the globe that I adore and help them turn their creative dreams into their reality. So basically, I have my dream job. And I get to create more than enough income to stay in my home and travel and continue investing in myself and my own coaching and business and feeling financially secure without sacrificing my emotional, physical, or creative self-care, which is what I call for the joy of it, creative endeavors. So I just want to repeat, the most important piece of that story is I did not know how. I did not know how 3 years ago this would happen, but I did get clarity around what I wanted to have happen. I worked to build my courage and confidence that it could happen, and then I committed to making it happen. I really shudder to think where I might be right now if I had just told myself, okay, if I can make this happen in 3 months, then I'll stick with it. Because there were definitely some zero income months in that first year, and I would have given up and I guess found some sort of 9-to-5 job that had dependable income insurance, but that's not the path that I chose. So now that I've created this for myself, it's just, I'm very passionate about helping other people create the same sort of creative and financial autonomy so that they can live meaningful and joyful lives that they love as well. And no divorce needed. I had to get pushed out of the nest, but you definitely do not. You can do this wherever you are in your life. So again, just to recap, the skills that you need to cultivate in order to turn a creative dream or vision that you have into your new reality is to cultivate your clarity and your confidence and your commitment. And these are the skills that you can absolutely learn. You can absolutely practice them and develop them and strengthen them. Nothing that I'm offered today to share for you to do is impossible or out of your reach. And I believe that 100%. I believe it for myself and for my clients. And I've seen all of us to, bring that to truth over and over again. And that's why I'm so excited to share this possibility with you and hope that it's giving you the opportunity to look at things in a new way. Because what happens when you do this, when you intentionally cultivate your clarity and your confidence and your commitment to your creative vision, is that you're finally going to be able to live this life that you have probably been dreaming of for a pretty long time. And you're going to feel happier and healthier and less grumpy. You're going to be less stressed and more fulfilled. You're going to feel more purposeful. You're going to expand your sense of self-worth. You're going to put in place and hold healthy boundaries. And all of your relationships benefit from this growth. The ripple effects are really nothing short of magical. So I want to share a story on that front about my client, Vonda. While she's working with me to help build her photography business, she uncovered and released a lot of long-held beliefs that had held her back. And along her creative journey with the work we've done together, a beautiful byproduct, in addition to building her reputation as a first-class storyteller with images, was that she also created healthier boundaries and stronger relationships with her husband and her children. And that was just an amazing side bonus. So doing this intentional work to strengthen your self-worth and confidence, plus committing to your dream by showing up consistently, pays off with, I like to call it, compound creative interest. You end up with so much more over the span of, let's say, the next 3 years than you ever could have imagined. And you know, the value of this kind of transformation is really priceless, because not only in terms of money created, but in terms of self-worth and the incalculable value of living a life you truly love, rather than just settling for what you've always done or what others have always told you was possible for you. Whether you want to grow a business or just have a more personally fulfilled creative life, when you really learn how to build your self-confidence and strengthen your self-worth and live intentionally and authentically with purpose and meaning, I promise you wake up feeling grateful every day. So my client, Gwen, calls this pinch me moments. And she says that she has experienced more pinch me moments in the past year that we've worked together than in her whole life. She is currently living her dream of traveling across the United States in her Airstream with her dog Freya, while reading and writing and making art. So whatever your personal or professional creative vision is, it is 100% possible to begin turning it into your new reality in 2022. And to do that, again, you cultivate clarity and confidence and commitment. And when you do, imagine where you will be in January of 2025, 3 years from now. So that is the masterclass that I wanted to share. And as I promised, I want to give you a chance to dive right in and start practicing what you've learned today for yourself, putting it to use right away, because every day that goes by is just another day that you're not creating the life that you want to live, a bigger and bolder and more authentic creative life. And starting today is the best thing that you can do, because you know, as soon as you stop watching this replay or we hop off of this masterclass live together, that life just starts, you know, sweeping back in, demanding your attention, demanding your energy, demanding your time. And before you know it, your creative dreams, you know, the dreams that you brought to this call today, begin to just kind of plummet back down to the bottom of your to-do list. And when that happens, that's when, you know, that's when we start to think about giving up again. So the truth is, when it comes to your creative dreams, you can get derailed so easily and stay off track for so long, a day, a week, a month, and sometimes even years, when you don't just commit to taking action. So there's no shame in that. Many of us have had the thought before, you know, I'll get to it. I'll get around to it, as they say. But the change really starts to happen when you say, but today's the day, you know, that I'm deciding to make the change. So the alternative to doing what we talked about today and learning how to cultivate your clarity and confidence and commitment is to stay unclear, keep thinking the same thoughts you've been thinking on repeat, keep feeling the ways that you're feeling naturally, and doing and not doing the same things, which basically just leads to no change, which is fine if that's your choice. But if you know in your bones that you want more, if you want to stop ignoring your dreams, if you want to stop putting yourself last on the list, stop living in fear, that it's time to get out of your own way, if now is the time, then I can definitely help you. So I'm going to be sending you an email after this class, and it's going to have the replay, and it's going to have a link to the Creative Oasis Clarity Call. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat right now, the link to the Clarity Call, because I'm not 100% sure I've got a full coaching roster today. So I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get that out with the replay. It takes a little while to upload to YouTube. But your next step towards learning how to cultivate your curiosity and clarity and commitment is to schedule a Creative Oasis Clarity Call with me. During your Clarity Call, you're going to have my one-on-one attention. We're going to talk through your personal creative dreams, either professional or personal, and you can tell me where you are right now, and we're going to see where you are now, where you want to be. We're going to shine a light on the thoughts that are probably keeping you where you are right now, what's stopping you from getting where you want to be. And if we're a good fit, then we can go on to work together so you can more quickly realize your creative dreams and desires. So I want you to be sure and, use the link over here, use the link in the email that I'm going to send you, and book a call in the coming week so you can be the first in line to grab one of my one-on-one coaching spots when they become available later on in the month in my calendar. And also, as a reminder, the clients that hire me in January are going to have access to this amazing Creative Oasis visioning experience that we will work through together if we're working together one-on-one. That'll really help you in the most personalized experience possible to create your own unique creative journey versus a cookie cutter, do exactly as I do kind of program. I work with such a wide variety of creative humans that there's no way a cookie cutter program would work. And just to give you an example, so here are some of the types of both personal and professional creative dreams I've helped my clients to bring to life over the past 3 years or so. Designing and selling jewelry, teaching improv workshops, renovating a farmhouse, gardening, creating short films, writing books and blogs and memoirs and articles and screenplays, promoting social justice, creating a body of work for a solo art exhibit, growing a photography business, leading diversity and inclusion trainings, coaching businesses with breath work, work-life balance, meditation, social media, creativity coaching, painting custom art commissions, opening an online import shop, starting a podcast, rebooting a sustainable interior design business, building a sound meditation and healing business, recording original music and iPad art for the fun of it, baking and entertaining, journaling, creating healthy and satisfying morning routines and evening routines, helping run a nonprofit program, and practicing and teaching meditation and yoga online. So as you can see, one of my passions is to broaden the definition of what it means to live a creative life. And as you can see by that list, it means a heck of a lot more than being able to draw or play an instrument. Case in point, I want to go back to my client, Erin, that I was telling you about earlier. Erin hired me because even though she was a generally happy human, she still felt like something was missing. And she really was craving a way to bring more joy and meaning into her life, but she didn't know exactly what that looked like or what she wanted to do. So I helped Erin go from a place of indecision and lack of purpose to celebrating sale after sale from her beautiful online store, Madre Monte. Like so many multi-passionate creative people, and I'm raising my hand here, her path to this point has not been a straight line. So an abbreviated look at her nonlinear creative journey, because creativity is nonlinear. We don't go in a straight path from A to B to Z. We kind of go from, I like to say we go from purple to glitter by way of Timbuktu. We kind of take a roundabout route in the creative world. But she first followed her curiosity. So we asked, what do I want to do? Second, got clarity. I know what I want to do. And then confidence. I can do this. And then commitment, I am going to do this. And then celebration, I'm doing this. And then continuing, I'm going to rinse and repeat in a multitude of ways. So I helped Erin to take those steps. And she, like, first during her curiosity phase, she started a travel page on Instagram. She hosted some creative gatherings she participated in and organized several art and writing challenges. And with each of those experiences, her creative confidence grew. And then one day during a coaching session, she shared this glimmer of a possible idea that felt audacious to her at first. She said, what if I connect with the artists in Colombia, where she travels with her husband to see her husband's family several times a year, and purchase and resell some of my favorite handmade artisanias back here in the States or online? That was the seed for Madre Monte. And it became the focus of our coaching work. And over the span of, a year, she has gone from having the idea to creating not one, but 2 websites. She already went through one and created a second one with her online store and selling these beautiful handmade artisanias from Colombia. She had not only her online boutique, which she still has, but she did her first pop-up shop or market of the year in 2021. So she's become the creative entrepreneur that she didn't know she could become. And she's combined her passion for Colombian culture and heritage with art and beautiful things. And now she's shining her light in that way in the world, spreading that story and sharing that beauty. So I do want to open it up right now. If anybody has a question, I want you to feel free to pop it in the chat. And while you do that, I will be on the lookout for that. I just want to recap that what happens in a clarity call is that you just have a time and space, which is pretty rare in life, to have a totally non-judgmental talk and full attention on you about you and your creative dreams. It's a place to get really honest with yourself about what you want and to really look at why why you don't do what you want to do. And so, yeah, and we'll talk about like things as far as like packages and possibilities and stuff like that. All of that I talk about depending on whether or not we want to work together and how I think we would best work together during the clarity call. I used to take it for granted that people, of course, would want to, would know that they would get this kind of non-judgmental time with me, but I really learned later that they didn't, because it's so rare to find that in the world. And they kept thinking things like, you know, they might have been embarrassed by what they wanted to do, or they thought they weren't creative enough, or they couldn't stop thinking about, I should be able to do it on my own, or they were afraid their challenges weren't because they weren't music, or art weren't along the kind of work that I do. And so, as you can see, nothing can be further from the truth. So I want to share some questions that are coming in directly to me. Between my aging parents and kids, I feel like there's never any time to be me. How is it possible to even change that? So you're definitely not alone. I'm right there with you. I'm at the stage in life. I have a 22-year-old daughter. I have parents that are in their 70s, and my mom has dementia. And yet I'm very close with all of them. I still manage to prioritize and grow my business and practice self-care with them. So what happens is when you feel stuck in a situation, or you feel at the effect of a situation outside of us, like we let those circumstances of having children or having aging parents or COVID or whatever it is, but when you let the circumstances control what we decide to do, we're totally disempowering ourselves. But I promise you, there are so many methods that are available, like the AAA reset, to give you perspective to your situation, to come to a situation, even like being what do they call us? The sandwich generation between having aging parents and children at home, and see that there is a doable way to reclaim time and space and energy for ourselves. And that really, when we do put healthy boundaries in place and give ourselves the opportunity to live more fulfilled lives, we actually become better caregivers. We become better parents. We become better partners, because we lose resentment and we're just filling our own well so much that we come to any situation or any relationship the best version of ourselves. So, we often will just think that these things that are out of our control are out of our control. And really the control comes from within so often. Let's see, another person said, I have a hard time believing what I want to do is worth the time and effort. I tend to question, will anyone care or understand what I want to do? So again, you're not alone, and this might blow your mind a little bit, but that one thought has the power to hold you back from even attempting to pursue your dream. And it's a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier with the AAA reset. This one thought of no one's going to get what I'm doing. No one's going to understand or care, especially if it's a thought you've been thinking for years, if not decades, has the power to keep you stuck and basically immobilize you from taking action, because it's a thought you've taken so long. It's really kind of difficult to stop on your own. And when we work together, I help you find those thoughts, And then again, work with them to neutralize them and replace them with the thoughts that are going to serve you and help you to actually take action consistently on your creative dreams. I mean, we all have thoughts like this. I still have thoughts like this. The only difference is that I work with my coach, and I've learned how to work with them myself head on, rather than doing what most of us do, which is try to ignore them or drown them out and silence them, or buffers, what we call it, when we numb out with, again, shopping, Netflix, or just doing all the things that have to be done. And so we tell ourselves, well, I have to do this because it really needs to be done. Laundry, paying bills, food prep, going to the store, that kind of thing. But the truth is those activities, those to-dos are always going to be on our list all the time, right? So it's if we know those are going to get done, I joke with my clients and say, I know you're an adult who is a responsible, loving adult, and that you're not going to come into your house one day and be like, I have no laundry and no food because I've spent all my time on my creative endeavor. I believe fully that you can balance that out. And so shining a light on that and helping them to do that is definitely the best thing to do to turn your creative vision into a new reality. And I've had a couple of people are asking me about price, and that's definitely something we talk about on the clarity call, because there's a couple different options. And I want to make sure that we can even work together first before we even talk about that. So if you want, I can tell you that the bonus experience of the Creative Oasis Visioning Experience that was available in we started in December. That was a gift to my one-on-one clients. It was $275 to people who just wanted to join in. And that's going to be something that you're going to get on top of the one-on-one coaching if you decide that that's what you want to do. And we'll talk about it in detail and the options for that on a clarity call. So I also want to share a story about this idea about our thoughts keeping us from doing what we want to do. So my client, Jane, we uncovered one of her thoughts, which was, who do you think you are to make this stuff up? This was her dream crushing inner critic thought that we uncovered during our work together. Now, here's what she had. She was ignoring, this inner critic thought was ignoring 25 years plus of education, training, research, writing, certifications, teachings, and hand-on experience. This is a woman who had it all going on. And yet this inner critic thought of, who do you think you are to make this stuff up, was keeping her stuck in old patterns and not seeing her projects through to completion because she just didn't trust herself. She didn't have the confidence. It really had her spinning in overwhelm without realizing that she had all of these things that she could utilize, that she'd accumulated over the years to create this life and business that she wanted. And she was just seriously doubting herself. But we found a way to work together, neutralize those thoughts, gain clarity around how she could help people. She thought it was to write her book, but actually she realized that she had created a tool. She calls it her speak much. She calls it her dynamic unwinding method. And she shares that via one-on-one coaching now. And she realized that if she could teach people this method to clear their minds of clutter and get into a meditative state more quickly and easily on a consistent basis, that would be the way she could help people and make the biggest impact in the world right away, versus waiting until her book had been published and then getting it published and having people buy it and that kind of thing. So she ended up creating a coaching program and signed 8 clients within the first month of offering it, and created her first 4-figure months of coaching. But even more importantly, I think, is that her work was making an impact in the world. She wasn't putting that on hold for who knows how much longer. And, when she came to me, like I said, really that was all she was thinking about. So that's the other point of having a guide on this nonlinear journey, is sometimes we don't even know where we're going to end up, but simply by being open to taking the journey, we're opening ourselves up to create a really amazing existence for ourselves. The same kind of thing was possible for me when I started working with my first coach back in 2008 or 9. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I had so many different ideas that I wanted to do. And by helping me to focus in on my music, again, purely for my joy, I didn't think I wanted to create a career out of it, but I just knew I wanted to make music, and I started performing again and writing again. And then I created my CD. And then by the time I created my CD, I had earned my certification as a Kaizen Muse creativity coach. And I decided I could do something else other than just have a big, party at a smoky bar somewhere trying to hawk CDs. So I created an event called Infinite Possibilities, a night of music, art, and women helping women. And I had 13 female artists each create and donate a piece of art that was inspired by one of the 13 songs on my CD. We had a silent art auction, a raffle. I performed the entirety of the CD with the band, and we ended up raising, after expenses, over $10,000 for Women International. And the reason that I want to share that is, again, this expansiveness of, I didn't know that that was going to be the end result when I started. I had to first trust myself that following my instinct to live a creative life and to trust that making music was important for me was the place to begin. That's where I began. And it led to the CD, which led to the event Infinite Possibilities, which led to awareness and money for Women International. I didn't hire Jill, my coach, to say, I want to create a fundraising event. So to me, that's just another magical part of trusting our creative vision and committing to it and starting to make it happen is the belief. And I talked about that a little bit earlier in the class, believing in the possibility that something amazing is going to happen, or we're going to create something amazing, even when you don't know how yet. The how is really the least important part of it. The most important part of it is trusting yourself, getting the help that you need, getting super clear about it and confident, building your confidence, weeding out those things that are keeping you feeling in scarcity or unconfident, and then committing. And I promise, whatever your creative dream is, that if you decide that you want to make it happen and you get clear on what it is you want to create, and you find work to build your confidence and then commit, it is 100% possible. I am not a unicorn. Erin, Jane, Vonda, my clients, they are not unicorns. They are just people who have decided that we're not going to wait anymore. We're not going to not live the creative life that we want to live, or have the work that we want to live. That this is what we're going to do. So I think that's it. I think that's all the questions. I think I've answered all the questions that have come up so far. If not, you're welcome to email me after the class directly. Again, you'll be receiving a follow-up email. You can use the link that's in the chat right now to book your clarity call. I'm on a bit of a wait list right now, but you would be, it's first come, first serve. Whoever gets has a clarity call first, and we'll have the first option for the first spot that becomes available later in the month. So I want to thank you and applaud you for being here and for taking time for yourself and staying with me. And really, I hope listening to everything you learned today through the lens of how could this be true for me? How can I make my own personal and professional dreams happen? So that's it. Have a great day. Happy New Year. I look forward to talking to you soon. If we're working together one-on-one already, I look forward to going deeper with the visioning work with you in this month. Simona, thank you so much for staying. Happy New Year. I'm so glad that you felt well enough to stay. Thank you, everybody. And feel free, I'm going to share this, the replay and a link with you. Feel free to share the link of the replay with your friends. I want everybody on the planet to know about this work. So thanks, Veronica. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great day. And I will share one more thing. If we're not already connected on all the social medias, these are my handles. I would love to be connected there as well. Since you signed up for this class, I'm sure you're receiving my my Creative Oasis moments and my emails. Thank you, Tracy, for coming. Oh, it's good to see. Wasn't able to see everybody who was on here. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Kimberly, Deidre, Donatien, Liz, Mary, and everybody who's watching the replay right now. This is for you as well. Okay. Bye. Thank you so much. See you soon.